Hey everyone and welcome to this tutorial. Now, I don't know about you, but I really can't stand those YouTube videos that drag on forever without getting to their point. You know the ones I'm talking about. They're filled with unnecessary fluff, they don't explain why they're doing things, and they're just out there to drag up views and make money with clickbait titles. If you're like me and you hate wasting time on that kind of nonsense, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to give you a no bullshit guide on how to make your player rotate in the direction of the mouse. We're going to dive straight into the code, explain everything as clearly and as quickly as possible, and by the end of this video, you will have a working script. No fluff, no clickbait, just straight up useful information. So, let's jump right in. So, I've just made a new Unity project and added an environment and a player. And I also added a script to the player, which basically changes animation based on if the player is moving or not moving. So, what are we trying to do? Well, we're trying to make the player rotate towards the mouse. And how do we do that? Well, we need to make a script. And let's call it... I don't fucking know. Layer... mouse, look, I don't know. I'm really bad at naming things. And then we need to open the script. So I'm gonna write all the code and then I'm gonna explain to you why and what I did. Now I want to show you that the code actually works. You can see that the player will rotate towards the mouse, to where the mouse is. But why does it work? Well, let's go through line for line. So the first thing we do is find the mouse. To make this work, we need to know where the mouse is. That's basically the most important thing. To be able to rotate the player towards the mouse, we need to know where the mouse is. So, inside the input class, there is a method which returns the mouse position, called mouse position. This gives us the mouse position in screen coordinates, which is basically the X and Y position of the mouse on the screen. Then the next part is really important. We convert the mouse from screen space to world space, because the mouse and other UI elements is by default on the screen space. And the screen space is basically just a screen. And the screen only has an X-axis and a Y-axis, no Z-axis, while all other objects, such as the player and the trees and the ground, are on the world space. And that's the first problem. We can't find a direction between different spaces. So now we have to convert either the mouse to world space or the objects, the player in this case, to screen space. And I just decided that I wanted the mouse to convert from screen to world space. Then we set the Z-axis to 0. So I just wanted to tell you why it is important that we set it to 0. So when we make this conversion from screen space to world space, it's important to realize that the mouse doesn't have any set value at first, so it gets its set value from the camera. And the camera in most 2D games is usually -10, or whatever you set the camera to. So that means its Z-axis will be the same as the camera. So this will give us some wonky behavior when we try to find the direction later on. We don't want that. This is a 2D game, so we don't want to use the Z-axis. That's why we set it to 0. And then it's time to find the direction, which is very easy right now, because both the mouse and the player is in the same space, in the same world space. So all we have to do is take the mouse minus the player, which gives us an arrow pointing from the player to the mouse. And then we have to normalize it, because we don't want it to give different values depending on how far away the mouse is from the player. We want it to always be the same. And then we need to take this direction and convert it to an angle which we can use to rotate the player to the mouse. And we can do that by using math.attend2, which converts directions to angles. Then we have to multiply it by rad to degrees, because this gives back a radian. And rotations in Unity doesn't use radians, so we have to convert it to degrees. And then we use that angle with quaternion.euler, which gives us a rotation, which we can then give to the transform.rotation. And that's all. So thanks for watching. This was my first video, so there are many things that I still have to learn. So if there are anything you want me to improve, please leave it in the comments below. Maybe you want my English to improve or my teaching skills or whatever. I really want feedback. So yeah, goodbye.